Okay, here we go again. I'm live. My name is William Joseph Shagoya, and I'm just kind of gonna kind of run down to you what I've been experiencing these past 2 years. Let me go ahead and turn this way. Um, about 2 years ago, I was at home with my wife. I have two kids, and I was working, just living a normal life, going to work every day, coming home, spending time with my family, going to just an everyday normal, nothing out of the ordinary life. And about a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit, maybe a month or two more than that, maybe about 18 months ago, I began to notice a lot of strange things were happening. And one of the main things was that a lot of people were following me, a lot. Some of them looked like regular citizens, others looked kind of official. And no matter where I went, there they were. No matter where I went, and they didn't try to hide it. They were pretty blunt about it. It was pretty obvious. You don't got to be a rocket scientist. You don't have had to have went to college for 10 years and you have a master's doctorate degree to know when somebody's people are following you. Um, they weren't really being discreet. They were making it pretty obvious. They didn't care. But wherever I went, they went. And I really didn't know why. But after that, a lot of strange things. Um, and I can only imagine the reason is because around that time was the time that my clone was being transported to the United States. So they had to make sure they knew where I was every moment of the day. Because let's just say my clone was leaving the airport and I was driving in that area and I seen him. Well, that would have just threw everything off. And you can't have somebody and their clone living in the same city. And if you do, you got to be very careful that you make sure that one doesn't see the other or the original doesn't see the clone. So I can only imagine that was probably the reason why they were keeping close tabs on me because they couldn't have me see him. So around that time, I began to prophesy concerning the country and a lot of other things. I began to make a lot of big claims. I claimed to be a prophet, and in a lot of ways, I claimed to be more than a prophet. And in doing so, I brought a lot of attention to myself and posed myself as a threat, not against a group of people, not against a nation, but the nations of the world. I have posed myself as a threat against every world leader, against every man, woman, against every person of every tongue and of every tribe. I have brought this attention to myself by the claims I have made, by prophesying in the manner in which I did prophesy. And having this in mind, it would make sense why a nation or nations would go to the extent and go through all the trouble and spend as much money as they have spent on conducting a top secret operation such as the one I am exposing to you right now. So Donald Trump, the president of the United States, which is the president of the country in which I live in, has been meeting with a lot of world leaders lately, these past year and a half. And it's really unsure what they have been talking about. But as a prophet, as a man of God, I'm sure I could expose that to you right now. They have joined forces and have come in unity with the sole purpose of destroying an enemy in which they all share, which is the Son of Man, which is the one who will one day rule the nations, which is the one who will, according to what the Bible says, give to every man in accordance to what he has done upon this earth. And having that in mind, one thing that the nations of the earth do agree on amongst each other is that they do share this mutual enemy. By the claims I have made, I have posed I have not only brought attention to myself, but I have exposed my identity and made known my identity and have made myself a sort of target that every nation, every world leader would love to hit. I am not enemy of one country, I am enemy of all countries. I am not one who will rule one nation, but rather than that, I am he who will rule all nations. I am not he who will judge a handful of people, but I am he who will judge all people. And for that very reason, I have become a target in which my country has gathered with other countries as to, so to speak, come before a drawing board and develop, orchestrate, or come up with a sort of plan, not so much to kill me, but to control me, to place me in a cell for the rest of my life as I live here on earth. And they have put their minds and their brains together because in Psalms chapter 2 it says, why did the nations conspire? Why do the people, the mighty men of the earth, and the world leaders, why do they get together and seek to destroy the Father and his anointed one? And that is what it was. The nations of the earth conspired how they might destroy the Son of Man, how they might destroy the very Son of God. And the plan and the idea that they came up with, because everybody has a clone living in another country. They don't make a clone from the original DNA of a person in the same country because that would be a conflict of interest. That would cause a lot of problems. So they try to find a country with a long enough distance to create the clone of an individual. That is why they say everybody has a look-alike living somewhere. What they're really saying is everybody has a clone living somewhere. And my clone lives in the United Kingdom, in London. And there, as a result of their gatherings or as a result of their gathering together and conspiring against me, the idea and the plan that they have come up with is that they will transport my clone, which was made years ago, they will transport him into the country in which I live in and into the state in which I live, even into the outskirts of the city which I live. And they will cause this clone of mine to engage in many vile crimes. And because this clone and I share the same DNA, we share the same fingerprints, we share the same appearance of a face, we share all things because he was created from me. He is not me, he was created of me. The reason I shouted because a cop went by driving really fast, like he was mad about something, because I am messing up your plan. See, when the Bible says that there are 7 things that God hates, you just done all those 7 things. Yes, even that officer who drove by right now, because he hates one who bears false witness. That is a picture of a person who sits in court and says, yes, it was him, he did it, with knowledge that that is an innocent man. That is one who bears false witness. A lying tongue, it's somebody who constantly lies, knowing that they're lying, like that officer. It is somebody who has a proud look, who looks down on people, who treats people as though they are less than a person, just like that officer. It is a picture, it is somebody who A heart that devises wicked plans, like the world leaders. They gathered together, like in Psalms chapter 2. Why do the nations conspire against the Lord? When the nations gathered together and the world leaders of those nations gathered together, they devised a wicked plan within their heart. That is something that God hates. It is a picture of somebody sitting down just thinking, how can I pull off this evil plan? How can I commit this murder in such a way that it doesn't look like a murder? A heart that devises wicked plans, hands that are quick into running into mischief. No, hands that shed innocent blood, I'm sorry. Like my blood is innocent, and yet they seek to shed it, even in a dungeon, in a cell, as I would sit there for years, my entire life, for crimes that I did not commit, shedding innocent blood. Feet that are swift and quick into running into mischief. It's a picture of people that are so quick into running, into getting involved in things that are just not good. Like like those who live here in my city. So quick to take part in something such as this, something so evil, in a conspiracy, in a plot to destroy a king, an innocent man. These are the very things that God hates. We know that He is against all sin, but these are the very things. What? Oh, you got it fixed? Yeah. Oh, that's good. That was my uncle. Just came up right now. Um, these are the very things that He hates. I don't know about you, but I do not want to be responsible for doing something that the Father of all creation hates. Well, apparently I'm not like you because I care, and which I see very clearly is you don't care. You don't care, or else I wouldn't be going through this. And so they have conspired against me, and this is the plan that they have come up with. So now we have a bunch of crimes that have been committed by somebody who is not a real person. It has been committed by a duplicate of an individual, even even me. This is I have acquired that is stone cold, that is solid, that is undeniable. And the sole intent of it is to destroy the one man, the one man that is your hope, the hope of glory, your future, your bridge, your God, your hope. Without hope, you are finished. The world as you know it is done. The Antichrist is getting ready to make his appearance to the world. And he doesn't want to make that appearance with his greatest adversary still here, actively living, unbound. He wants his greatest adversary, he wants his greatest enemy to be gone so he can make his entry with nobody coming against him. And that person that would come against him is me. I am your hope. You got to keep hope alive. You must keep the hope alive and free. I am your hope. What man amongst you kills his only hope? A foolish man, a blind man, a demonic man. Keep the hope alive because it is your hope. It is the only thing that will save you one day. This is why it is important for you to keep your hope alive. I am Joseph. All this entire time, I wasn't even, I had it faced the wrong way. Well, that's awful. So, well, this is the person that, of the voice that you've been hearing. It is very important that you keep your hope alive. Vile crimes have been committed by an individual. Vile crimes have been committed by somebody who doesn't exist, who is not a real person. He is a duplicate. He is a carbon copy of an individual. And this has been conducted with the sole purpose and intention of diminishing or removing this individual because he poses a threat to the nations of the world. He poses a threat to the Antichrist, which shall make his appearance really soon. And he wants to make his appearance without anyone here who would stand in his way. And that one person who would stand in his way it's me. And I can't stand in his way if I'm in prison for something that I didn't do. I can't stand in his way if I'm dead. And this is what he desires. It is very important that you keep your hope alive. Because I am your hope. I am the one thing, the one person that will stand between you and eternal death. And for you to take part in such an operation that would remove me from you would be senseless, would be foolish, would be unbelievable, unbelievably foolishness. Keep your hope alive.